Three, two, one, let's go. All right, we're back with another little condensed Go game. But it's more of a lesson today. We're going to talk something a little new, a little exciting, and we're going to talk about the difference between Japanese rules and Chinese rules. Subtly different, still Go, basically the same game, often the same result in terms of winners and losers, but you count the stones differently. So let's just do a little lesson here. So, and why? Because it's going to influence the outcome of this game. That's the whole point of this. I want to show you what I mean and how it works. All right, let's just say that is your group. You're partway through the game. You have this. It's alive. You have two eyes. Easy, right? No big deal. Now, let's talk about the Japanese version. Japanese version of Go is captured stones. You only get a point if you capture a stone or a point right on the board. So we're talking this one, and this one. We've captured 3 points. So the Japanese version of this game, if you're playing by Japanese rules, this is 3 points. However, if you are playing by the Chinese rules, it's not captured stones, it's just stones. You're just basically counting territory. Each one of these points is a point. So instead of 3 points, what's that? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. That's 18 points. Takes longer to count at the end of the game, but I typically like playing Chinese rules, Chinese variation. That's just kind of how I learned and what I've started on, so I'm used to it. I would play maybe a little bit differently with Japanese, but anyway, typically Chinese, and that's important for the outcome of this game, which we're going to get into right now. So we'll take a step back and start the game. I'm going to fly through this because it really only impacts the final couple moves here. So it was a fun game, though. It was close and it was pretty tight. And we have the second move. So we're playing as white up against black, 10k versus 9k. And like I said, I'm just going to fly through this, talk about some big picture moves. Each taking a corner. Black's battling. Black did a good job in this bottom lower corner. This is a game from just a couple days ago, and I remember getting absolutely dominated in that lower left-hand corner. Black got a little bit aggressive there in the upper right, throwing in, then trying to run out. Like I said, we're not going to worry too much about the individual moves here. Just kind of the shape of the game, the flow of the game. I played this one semi-conservatively. I didn't want to get killed off. I've been dying a lot in my games recently and getting killed. So I played a couple moves that are just, on the safer side sometimes, just making sure I had eyes. I had, the space to live and actually see this through to the end. And you can see Black has really, this started out as my corner, right? And Black has done a really good job peeling in here and then also weaseling his way in. He's going to get a huge chunk of that corner, right? So anyway, not terribly important. Like I said, we're just going to keep on flying here. Already 100 moves in. Let's just check the score. We're 112 moves in. What's the score at? The score, Black by 20. Which looks about right. Black did a really good job. He took this upper left-hand corner to start, lower or right-hand corner to start, and actually he took kind of most of the right-hand side of the board, actually. And he did still squeak out there too, right? So he can kind of attack and weasel his way in yet again. And then down here, this is where it got a little bit painful, and he just kept working his way in and taking more and more and more. Probably should have been my corner. If I had played like one more move down there, I probably could have stopped him from coming in. Didn't see that one coming, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. Back to the board. 113 moves in. Here we go. So let's fly through the rest here. Down by 20. Can we make up the difference? Keeping in mind Japanese versus Chinese rules, right? That's what we're talking about. 160 moves in. And you can just see this one kind of develop, right? There's not going to be anything too crazy at this point. I'll stop it with a few moves left. Phone's vibrating. Ignore that. Okay, so we're getting close. We're at 211 moves. Let's check the score now. We've moved up about 100 moves. Black by 2.8. So we've really gained some ground. Probably in the middle of the board because the corners were pretty much spoken for last time we checked in here. So I got the upper right. That's a nice little piece, pretty safe. I can seal that hole off there. That's no big deal. This is probably safe, right? We have at least one eye in there. Pretty easy to get a second one. I don't think he's going to kill that off. We got a group down here. Again, pretty safe. Nothing, nothing crazy. Not a lot of territory. Little group there, and another group here. It's actually surprising that I made back 20 points. Must have been up here on the right and then a bit in the middle there, because honestly, it doesn't look like I'm doing that great in this game. Looks like black has quite a bit more territory if I'm just kind of glancing at it. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Black's up by 2.8, back to the board, getting real close to the end now. I'm going to fly ahead. How many moves are left? Whoops. Handful. Oh, we're getting real close. Okay, so 224 is only a couple. A couple more. But keep an eye on things now. Let's look at the score once more. Estimating black by 1.1. So it's within basically a point at this point, right? So that's using Chinese rules, like we talked about. That's literally one little point on the board, meaning, and this is kind of what I wanted to get at with this video, is that we're only a few moves away from the end of this game. We know that when we're playing it. There's not a lot of moves left. And if we were to check the score, like I did while playing the game, and let me just say this first, you should check the score while you're playing the game, just to see where you're at. Not all the time, don't worry, don't stress over it, but sometimes you don't know. Like I said, if you glance at the board, it looked like black had a bit of an advantage, but it was actually closer than I would have anticipated. So in this game, when I was playing it, I know it's getting close to the end of the game. I did use the AI tool estimate score feature, the estimate score AI tool feature, whatever you call it. And I saw that, oh man, this is basically a coin flip. We're down to like 1 or 2 points. And like I said, that means when you're playing this, you want to have the last play, right? Because if you're down to one more point on the board and you get it, and the game's only a 1 point difference, you're going to win. Oftentimes it's there's a half point lead. So basically every turn, the last like 10 turns of the game, the lead is switching back and forth, and it really comes down to whoever has the last play is going to end up winning the game. Now, you can't always do that. If you're playing on a real board, maybe you don't want to use the estimate score feature, but sometimes it's super important. And in this particular game, I used the estimate score feature around now, and I saw, hey, black's only up by a point, which means, like I said, I want to have the last play of this game. There's only a couple left here, so let's play this out. Black gets a little bit of territory there. So like I said, there's still a couple moves left. This game's not over. Black's going to try and infiltrate up there. Put the pressure on. I'm trying to get any play where I can get 2 points. That's what I'm trying to do right now. If I can play one stone and get 2 points, that's huge when the game is only a 1 point difference, right? And a lot of these moves at this point are only going to be worth 1 point. So if you can get a 2 point move, that's huge. But at this point, I think it is literally just 1 point moves. We're playing it out. There's like 4 moves left. I seal them up there. Black goes in. I say, sure, I'm going to play safe there. Takes one. I take one. Black passes. Move 251. This is where it all comes into focus. So let's just check the score one more time. White by 0.7. I've won the game at this point by less than a point. Meaning, look at this, there's still points left on the board. Meaning if black were to take one of those, black would take the lead. But because there's no territory left to really to capture, speaking in the Japanese sense of the rules, I don't know, for some reason my opponent here just left it and didn't take these spots on the board. And I sort of recognized that because I had checked the score. And I thought to myself, oh, well, I'm not going to pass if it's a 0.7 point differential because, sometimes that's not correct. You want to have a little bit of a buffer. More than a point would be nice, right? So I took one. Free spot right there at F15. Guess what? That's a point. Let's check the score now. White by 0.7. Wait, wasn't it 0.7 last time? I don't know. That's what I'm saying, though, is that sometimes the score is off by like 1 or 2 points, so you got to be careful. Because what does black do again? Passes. There's still points on the board to take. What are you doing, black? There's one right there. There's one right there. What else? So there's at least two. I thought there was actually more. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's only those two. Oh, no, there's another one. There's a third one there, up for grabs. So there's at least 3 points on the board for taking, and black is passing in a 1 point game. What do I do? Very next move 254. I take one of those points. Black passes again. At this point, I realize, all right, I'm up by at least a point. Let's estimate the score now. White by 2.3. There we go. We got a 2 point lead. Now I'll pass, which I did with the next move. And it's funny that black actually didn't end up finishing the game. They resigned at this point because I think they sort of saw what I did and realized their own mistake. Because I think black thought that they had won the game, and I literally stole it with those last couple plays. And it's a little bit cheeky, you know, but it's within the rules, and that's the whole point, is like you got to play within the rules, so use the rules to your advantage. I saw there was free points on the board, and I ended up winning the game because I took it. I was down by like a point, half a point, point and a half, doesn't matter, somewhere in there, basically coin flip, and jumped in, took those last couple points. My opponent didn't recognize what I was doing at the time, just kept passing, and basically just gave that game away. Black was winning that game up to move 250 moves, and then just gave it away. So all that to say is check the score. When you're getting close to the end of the game, or if you think it's going to be a blowout or whatever, just check the score every once in a while. Check in, say, hey, I'm down by a couple, or I'm up by a couple, or I can maybe you're up by 10 or 15, and then you start to play a little more conservative, or you recognize that, hey, I'm down by 10 or 15, I need to play aggressive and I need to make a move. So check the score. And if you're only down by a point or two, take those free points at the end of the game. It's important. If they're just there for the taking, there's nothing wrong with it. It's part of the game. We left, like I said, at least two points. Was it a third one? Maybe I took it. Anyway, we left multiple points on the game. Black could have just kept it. So check the score, take the free points, win the game, have fun, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's go.